You know, there seems to be a lot of buzz about the Hover Air X1, and so I went out and I purchased one, and I've had it for a couple days, and I've had the opportunity to use it, and you know, I've got some thoughts. There are some good things about it, and there are some, I don't want to say bad things, but there are some things you need to be concerned about and need to pay attention to. So rather than doing a standard review video and going through all the specs and all that, I'm just going to give you my point of view from, using it for a couple days. So let's get into that. Hey everybody, this is Mike, this is LoadF Media, and like the intro said, today we're going to be talking about the Hover Air X1. This is a small, and you use the term drone, but they don't want you to call it a drone. It's a flying camera. And so, we've all seen the pictures and we've all seen the videos. So I'm not going to go into all the specs and everything like that, but what I am going to do is I'm going to talk about my experience using it over the last couple days. Because there are some things, and I don't think, and I can't. I'm using my G7X Mark III today, and I've got the newer, I want to say newer, but I think it's newer, wide angle lens, and I can't zoom in or out with it. I would like to zoom in a little bit, tighten up this shot a little bit, but it won't, no matter what dial I press, I can't get this to zoom in, so the zoom function does not work. All right, so you're just gonna have to deal with me sitting like this. All right, so I've used it for a couple days, and I like it. Let me start there. It's a great piece of tech. It's a great piece of video gear to help you make your content. So that's where I want to start. That's the good news. All right. So it's a wonderful piece of tech, and it's intuitive, and it's got artificial intelligence built in. And so very quickly, and while I'm saying this, I'm just going to throw some clips from the past couple days using it. The real pros are that, one, look at it. It's small. It's pretty durable. I do like the way the rotors are protected by this cage, so you can throw it into a bag or carry it with you without having to worry about it. The camera here on the gimbal is protected, and so again, I know on other drones, even a Pocket 1, 2, or 3 camera, you have to worry about this gimbal, and so on this particular unit you don't. It's got pretty decent quality. It's a 2.7K image, so that's not the greatest, but it's by no means the worst. If you look at Go 2, that one was only, I think, 1440. And then if you move up to the Go 3, that's 2.7K, and everybody loves that camera. So, well, as a matter of fact, my DJI Mini that I still use is 2.7K. You can see my trusty assistant there. I'm going to open up the door and let her out. Oh, she went under the desk. All right, so plenty of pros. I'm going to throw up a clip right now of one of the biggest pros, and that's using the microphone. So here, check this one out. All right, so we're using the microphone here in the woods. I've got it on hover. Did a little bit of follow, but it's too wooded to do the zoom outs and things and the dolly zoom. So anyway, just testing out the microphone here. I was going to hook up a wireless microphone, but yeah, too many people out here, so I don't want to spend too much time. But hey, just a quick test out here on the trail using the Hover Air X1. So as you can see, and you've probably seen it in all the other videos, what it does is, using artificial intelligence, it mutes out the noise of the motors, and it only picks up your voice using your phone. Now, I was close enough to where you would hear through the speaker or the microphone on my phone, you would hear the drone. But because of the artificial intelligence that they use in there, you couldn't hear a thing. So those are all the pros. So let's talk about just a couple concerns that I have with the drone. And they've been, one or two have been identified in other videos, so I don't want to be too redundant, but you just have to be cautious of where you fly it, because it does not have any obstacle avoidance built in. The only sensor is the one on the bottom, and that's so when you put your hand out, it'll land. but no obstacle avoidance on the sides. So if it's tracking you and you've got any kind of trees or limbs or anything, it's not going to pick those up, and you do run the risk of it running into a tree branch and you crash your drone. It's not very fast, and so if you're going to be on a bike or a scooter, a moped, something like that, a hoverboard, maybe a boosted board, a one wheel, you just got to be cautious of your speed because this does not go that fast. I think it's rated at like 15 miles an hour, maybe. I may have skewed that just a little bit, but it's not fast. So do be cautious of that. And then the one thing that I noticed today, this is my real, I don't want to say con, but the one thing that I have to be aware of now, I used it to do one of those bird's eye views. So what it does is it takes off from your hand, it hovers, and then it shoots up, and then it'll get to a certain distance, and then it'll come back down. Now you can program it to where it'll turn up there and make it more cinematic. Very nice. But what happened was when it came back down, I'm 5'10". This was easily 6'4", so it stayed at about 6 feet 4 inches tall, high. So it was away from me and it was over my head. So when I put my hand out for it to land, it didn't do anything. The green light was on, so it wasn't recording anymore, but it did not recognize me to come in and land on my hand. So I, because I've flown drones before, I quickly tried to get the connection using my phone, get through the app, connect it, and give it some kind of command to land. I connected it, but there is no command to land once it's already started. If you don't start, and I'm trying to look for my phone, if you don't start the mode using your phone, they have a list of modes and you can go through them. They say easy or skilled, and then you can say shoot and it'll start it from within the app so that you can become more familiar with those modes. It also has a land button. So you hit land, then it'll put your hand out, it'll land on your hand, and then that completes that task. So I was hoping to get to that, but there isn't. Once you start a mode using only your drone, that's it. You can't then take command of it and fly it manually. So here it is above my head. I have to reach up and put my hand out, and after a while it did recognize it and it finally landed. So that for me was very uncomfortable because now I don't have a way to, if anything goes sideways with the drone, if it stops and I want to bring it back, if it's in a place where I can't reach my hand out, then you're in a real pickle because you don't have a way to take control of the drone. Now the other thing, there's a new update, a firmware update, and it allows it to shoot in 9:16. I haven't been able to find where that is. But once I do, that's going to go in the pro column because that is a huge benefit. Because what I've done, this is one of the cons, if you take one of the 16:9 videos and you cut it down to where it's only a 6:19, because of the resolution, you're basically just zooming in on that image and it no longer maintains the same quality. So you do have to be cautious of that. I've done that a couple times just because there were a couple things. I think I did a video where I was using my phone as a microphone and I was talking to the drone camera and I wanted to cut out all the sides, and so it looked okay, but you have to be very cautious of that because you're going to lose a lot of pixels when you zoom in that way. So all in all, love this camera. This is a great device. I've seen a couple of these. I actually owned back in the day a Unique Breeze 4K, and they called it a selfie drone because the gimbal on it only went up and down. It didn't go side to side. So what it was designed to do is take off, get a picture, get some video. And so because the gimbal didn't do this, anytime you flew it this way, you could see the camera tilt. And so it wasn't really designed to do what traditional drones now are designed to do, which is to get that cinematic footage. The gimbal compensates for you moving back and forth. So that selfie drone was specifically designed to where you can have it take off, take a picture, take a video of you and your friends out doing what you're supposed to be doing. It had some tracking features, but that was about it. And it didn't have a long flight time, but I've been around, I've seen these kind of drones since those came out. There's been other selfie drones, but this is the first one that really hits the mark. And I will be very excited when they take this and upgrade it to a bigger sensor and maybe a 4K image. That will be fabulous. But that's it for today. This is Mike. This is LoadF Media. Thanks again for taking the time watching the channel and checking out these videos. If you're not already, please become a subscriber and do leave a comment. I love chatting with you guys and getting your feedback on the videos. And so with that, you have a good one, and we'll see you in the next one.